On a crisp October evening in Manchester, the floodlights of Old Trafford pierced through the dusk, casting long shadows on the pitch. The crowd roared as Marcus Rashford jogged onto the field, boots gleaming, sleeves pulled just above the elbow. United was trailing 1-0 against Arsenal, and the second half had just begun. But Marcus wasn't just thinking about football tonight. Oddly enough, as he lined up near the halfway line, his mind flicked to the sketch he'd drawn in his notebook the night before. A cropped wool jacket with matte black buttons and a minimal collar. He imagined the jacket in soft gray, maybe with a suede lining. It would go perfectly with the boots he saw at the Soho boutique last week. Focus, he told himself. One thing at a time. Beginnings. Two passions, one path. Growing up in Wythenshawe, Marcus always had two loves, football and fashion. The former, everyone knew. He was that wiry kid with blistering pace who could nutmeg a grown man by the time he was 10. The latter, fashion, was quieter, private. While his mates were playing FIFA, Marcus was flipping through GQ, circling outfits with a biro, or watching old Virgil Abloh interviews on YouTube. Why fashion? Someone asked him once during an early interview. Because when I walk into a room dressed the way I want, I feel like I've scored a goal before I've said a word. It was that simple. Game-winning goals and runway dreams. As Rashford's career soared, England caps, Champions League nights, match-winning goals, so did his interest in the world of design. Football brought him fame, but fashion grounded him. It was a creative outlet, a language of self-expression off the pitch. He started subtly at first, custom tailoring, collaborations with stylists, a few well-received red carpet moments. Then came the meetings, quiet dinners with designers in Paris, afternoons at fabric mills in northern Italy, conversations with athletes turned creatives. He didn't just want to wear clothes. He wanted to create them. MR10, not just a number. In 2025, Rashford quietly registered a brand, MR10 Studios. The press assumed it was football-related, a coaching venture maybe, but Marcus had different plans. It's not about screaming for attention, he told his small team. It's about making people feel seen without saying a word. His first capsule collection dropped a year later. Just 7 pieces, neutral tones, sharp lines, elevated sportswear with subtle nods to streetwear culture, reflecting the journey from council estate to global stage. One hoodie featured the embroidered coordinates of Wythenshawe. A pair of tailored joggers had a zip pull engraved with number 10. It sold out in 24 hours. Back at Old Trafford, with 5 minutes left in the match, Rashford received the ball on the left wing. He didn't think. He danced. A feint, a shimmy. He cut inside, curled a shot with his right foot. Top corner. The stadium exploded. As he jogged back, he smiled. Not just because of the goal, but because he knew, after the post-match interview, he'd change out of his kit and into the sleek black overcoat from his winter line. He was headed to a private dinner with a few young Manchester designers he'd invited from the local art school. No press, no cameras, just conversation. Because for Rashford, success wasn't just about what he did on the pitch. It was about using that platform to create space off it for kids who grew up like him. Kids who dream not just of scoring goals, but of telling their stories through thread and fabric. Legacy and layers. Years later, long after he'd hung up his boots, a young journalist would sit across from Rashford in his design studio, a clean, sunlit space filled with mood boards and sketches. You changed football, the journalist would say, but you also changed fashion. Rashford would smile, sip his coffee, and reply, I just wore what felt true. On the pitch, it was my jersey. Off it, it was everything else.